What's going on, guys? You're here with Quick Math. Today we're going to look at algebra, and really this is just a terminology start to make sure we understand what's being said in a lot of our questions. So I know that heaps of people hear algebra and they kind of get freaked out thinking it's way too hard for them, but it's definitely not. I'm actually going to show you that I think it's a little bit easier because you have to do less maths, really. So algebra helps us kind of solve any kind of problem where we don't know the exact number that's being represented. So this helps us model things in the future, have really good guesses on something that could happen or has happened in the past, and it really helps out with anything to do with money. So it is a really important skill. So because we don't know the specific number that we're using, okay, what we put in is a letter that represents all numbers. So it could be any number in the future, any number in the past, it doesn't matter. That letter could be absolutely any number. So the terminology for these letters, there's three big ones that you'll see. The first one is pronumeral, as in it's in the place of a number. The second one is variable. We've talked about just then that the letter represents any number, so it can vary at different times. So that's why it's called a variable. And the last one is just an unknown, which makes sense. We don't know what it is, so we're just putting a letter in that place. I actually do use the word letter quite a lot, just because immediately we know what we're talking about. But these three are like the correct way to talk about algebra. So when we write these algebraic expressions, most of the stuff that we've seen beforehand in maths stays exactly the same. It's just that instead of a number, we put a letter there. So for example, in addition, you could have a plus 1. Exactly the same. You know that you've got this letter and there's one more than whatever it represents in the end. Or you could have something like b minus 7. It's written in the exact same way. You can also add two letters together nice and easily. You can have a plus a or b minus a. It could be any letter as well. I'm using a and b for these ones, but you could have x plus 3, and that's totally fine. Okay, so the sentences that are written with these pronumerals look exactly the same for addition and subtraction. Multiplication though does look a little bit different, and we are going to have to talk about that. But just to start off, we're going to kind of talk about what multiplication is as a concept. So for this one, we've got 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, and we know that that's equal to 8. But another way to kind of write this mathematical sentence is that we've got 2 and we've got it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So that's how we get 2 times 4 is equal to 8. So these two things are equivalent, or they're the same. So in the exact same way, this next one, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 A's. So I can write this down as 4 A's. Okay, in total there, I've got 4 A's, which is the same as A times 4, which is written as 4A. So the reason that we don't have to write down this multiplication symbol in between the 4 and the A is that multiplication here is assumed. It's the default setting of algebra. So when there's two things right next to each other, we assume that they are multiplied. Obviously this doesn't work if it's, we don't think 23 there is written as 2 times 3. If there's a letter involved or a pronumeral involved and there's multiplication, you don't have to write that times sign. So for this one here, a times b, all you have to do is write it as ab. So it's just like a laziness thing, basically. Division remains basically the same as well, except we're always going to put it into a fraction, just to make it a little bit easier when we do simplify expressions like this. So 8 divided by 2x just becomes 8 divided by 2x. And then we can work from there. But that first initial step will just help kind of scaffold your answer nice and easily. The very last one here is brackets, right, without an operation. So what I mean there is that we've got a number here and directly next to it is a bracket. And that again assumes multiplication. So this would be 2 times what's inside the bracket. So for this type of question, we would add what's in the brackets first. So that would be 2 times, and there's 4 A's in the middle, and then we can just multiply from there, which is equal to 8A. Don't stress if you don't understand how I did that. The next couple of videos are going to look into this particular topic. Just a couple of quick notes nice and quickly. If you have the same letter in an equation more than once, right? So if you have A plus 2AB or something, as long as there's multiple of those letters, it has to equal the same number. So they must be same number, which makes working out things much, much easier, okay? If we've got different letters in the same equation, so we could have A plus B, for example, these ones are usually different numbers. They're usually going to be different numbers, but they can be the same, but usually are not. So this is just something to kind of be aware of. If you do have something where A is equal to 2 and B is equal to 2, that's totally allowed. It just usually doesn't happen. But that first one, the same letter throughout the whole question, is going to represent the same number. I hope this wasn't too confusing for you, and the next couple of videos are really going to delve into how to use these algebraic expressions easily. Thanks very much, guys, and I'll see you later. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Congratulations on taking some time to get better at this algebra. I know it can be a little bit difficult sometimes. If you do need some extra work, remember there are some free worksheets linked in the description below, as well as the notes that came from this video, so you don't have to pause it and scribble them down. If you do get a second, please like and subscribe to the channel, because there'll be new maths videos coming out every couple of days. Thanks so much. Have a good one.